Today we're going to be doing a video for rebuilding rosters. So if you have a rebuilding roster in a Dynasty League, you're going to want to follow these steps that we're going to give you. These are steps that every rebuilding roster should be taking. They will drastically help your rebuild and even maybe speed it up. So make sure you're doing these things. And do another thing for us. Two things, actually. Make sure you like the video and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We've got Dynasty content coming out all season long. Make sure you head over to Fantasy Domain and subscribe there. We're posting 4 videos a week right now on Fantasy Domain. That's going to help you with your week-to-week buy sells, your week-to-week rankings, your week-to-week start sits. So if you want that in-season advice, make sure you head over to Fantasy Domain. It's down in the description. Check out our memberships. We can get a team grade video for you if you sign up for a membership today. And you also get access to our Discord, our ADP, all that. And you get access to a listener league. We got another listener league open. So if you want to get in a league with us, make sure you go join as a Domain S tier member in our YouTube memberships. Check out the merch in the store. Today, again, rebuilding rosters. So when you're rebuilding a dynasty team, I mean, a lot of people, their definition of a rebuild is ship off every asset I can for picks. And actually, and I don't know if you, yeah, okay, you wrote that. Good. Nathan did the video prep.
I covered it.
I was making sure you covered that.
Don't worry.
That's not all there is to rebuilding a dynasty roster. In fact, it's not even the best way. In fact, in my opinion and in these two's opinions, I think you should have a ton less rebuild rosters than you do contending rosters. I think most of your rebuild rosters should be stemming from contending rosters that went wrong. I'm going for it, and if I don't get it, I'll rebuild. But I'm not every single draft I'm going into, I'm not trying to rebuild every single one. I mean, I'm trying, if I got contending value, which is normally the value that falls is going to be points per game value, or just points value, I'm trying to draft contending. Usually these are going to be contending teams turned wrong. So the first move that you can make on your rebuilding roster that is going to help you every single time is going to be to buy rookie wide receivers. We have a lot of data. We have tons of data points over the years. Rookie wide receivers have some of the best, most insulated value in Dynasty Fantasy Football, meaning when you draft them going into their rookie season, the odds that they are going to decrease in ADP the next year are like less than 15, less than 10%, right? Can't remember.
Yeah, it's around 15%.
It's really small.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about an asset, like there are two like premium assets in Dynasty. You have future picks, which always increase in value, and you have rookie wide receivers, which increase in value like 80% of the time. Outside of that, there is no other like specific cohort of player, that's a fun word, of player that like is almost guaranteed to increase in value. So you should be buying these rookie wide receivers. That means if you have like smaller contending pieces like Jerick McKinnon, like Tyler Boyd, you're shipping them off and going to get like a Dwayne McBride or something like that. Or that's a running back. I'm a freaking moron. Give me a rookie wide receiver. I'm an idiot.
Tank Dell.
Thanks. Tank Dell. Same round. Gosh, Avery. Don't listen to the running back thing. That's the kind of moves we're talking about. And you know, even you can go round by round and find contending assets that you might be shipping off and find the rookie wide receivers in those rounds. Those are the kind of moves you're going to be making. I mean, even Devontae Adams, like if you are going into a hard rebuild, you're trying to trade Devontae Adams and down tier to one of these rookie wide receivers, like Quentin Johnston plus, Jordan Addison plus, Zay Flowers plus more, right? So buying rookie wide receivers is going to give you some insulated value. It's going to help your rebuild go a little bit faster, and it's going to give it some more stability as you continue to rise up in value. The next one's going to be question marks are your best friends. Buy uncertainty and sell certainty. You're first.
So what I mean by this is you're going to have a lot of people in your dynasty leagues, whichever one you're in, you're going to have people that are uncertain about specific assets that they own, and they're going to be more willing to give you those so-called uncertain assets. Those are the maybe unproven sophomore wide receivers, or the unproven yet good draft capital quarterback who had a less than ideal rookie year, or something like that. But I'm specifically thinking about wide receivers mainly, and these are the guys that you're really going to want to gun for in a rebuild, because they're going to offer the least amount of risk when it comes to what you're paying for them, and they are going to have a high chance at increasing in value the next season. One of the best examples we have for this right now is Treylon Burks. He is a very uncertain asset in Dynasty, and yet he has some of the best draft capital at the wide receiver position in football. But because of his uncertainty, he's going anywhere from the 5th to 6th round. And then what I mean by certainty is exactly the opposite. Anyone who's guaranteed to produce, anyone who's guaranteed to be amazing and maintain their value, like Tony Pollard, sell the frick out of them and get whatever you can. and get something that is actually guaranteed to increase in value this time next season. That's picks. That's, again, like we said before, rookie wide receivers. What are you laughing at?
Well, two things. Number one, you said pick, but number two, you're like messing with your ring the entire time. Newlywed over here is not used to the ring.
I'm not used to
and
it.
he's like, if you try this, it's okay. Are you done? Sorry. It was just funny.
Yeah.
It was a great point though.
Mm-hmm,
All right, you got the next one.
Yeah. The next one is sell when you're not contending. Sell your contending assets in the middle of the season for picks.
Don't do it in the off season.
Yeah, you don't know if you're not contending in the off season. But let's say you have a contending team that's failing, and you get to week 6 or 7, and you're 3 and 4, and you're like, man, I'm not sure I can make the playoffs now. It might be time for me to pivot. I took this last year in a league that I was contending in. I was 2 and 5 by week 7, and I had Devontae Adams on my team. So I took Devontae Adams. You just mentioned Treylon Burks. I took Devontae Adams, and I sold him for Treylon Burks in a 23 first. Wow. Devontae Adams right now, this is DLF ADP, so real money leagues that they collect, dynasty leagues they collect the ADP from. Devontae Adams, his ADP is 34 overall. Treylon Burks, his ADP is 47. They're 1 round apart in ADP. Dang. Paid money leagues, and I got a first to cover that gap. And so, like, I'm not going to be contending next year. Guess what? Now I have Treylon Burks, who will likely rise in value, and a first. No, I mean, it's what you should be doing on every team. In the middle of the season, you figure out you're not contending, there's going to be someone who's desperate to get their money's worth.
Yeah, and this really goes along with something that Simon always talks about, and that's you don't have team need in the offseason. You have the only need you have in the offseason is value. And you don't want to be sacrificing contender value with the contending assets that you have when you're targeting a rebuild season. Contending assets that are so-called old are so undervalued in the offseason. And they're more valuable because no one's scoring points in the offseason. So everyone forgets that they're the ones that actually win you championships. Then you get into the season, they're the ones scoring points, and then everyone will pay for them then.
Yeah, how many points is Derrick Henry going to score you this Sunday?
Oh, he's only going to score you, this Sunday, 0.
Yeah.
In the regular season, come this year, everyone seems to think that he's going to score about 8 points per game and just completely fall off.
That sounds like Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I think he's going to suck.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to guess. All right. I'm going to skip down to the one we were laughing. If you couldn't tell, like, we were just cracking up laughing because some dude in our comments was telling us, like, because you know what our tight end strategy is, and it's very clear in our mock drafts. You know, if you're not getting one of those top 6 tight ends, do not draft a tight end until later and later. Well, today we had like a 5-round gap, and it was awesome. But our next point for rebuilding rosters, this is for you. Lock down an elite tight end. Do not waste a pick on the next elite prospect because we don't know who the next elite prospect is. And honestly, the next elite prospect might not be elite until you're contending. So you can buy him later. In the meantime, buy more insulated value. Buy somebody you know is going to go up in value. With the top 6 tight ends, we've seen the statistics. Believe it or not, we did a survey. And I can't even say it.
Not even a survey, but
we studied.
I'm going to read it. Let me just read it for you guys because I'm going to read exactly word for word what we said to someone who was just, got tired of us saying this. So we're going to say it again. In case you didn't listen, make sure you fade the tight end position after the top 6 producing assets. You're no better off with Pat P, that's Pat Freiermuth, than you are with Taysom Hill. It's a fact. We researched 160 leagues. Yeah. We did. Championship rosters and found that nearly 80% of them have a top 6 tight end. Elite tight ends win you championships. That's my dumb thumb. Then Avery, I'm gonna put words in your mouth, or no, I'm just gonna re-say what you said, and that's that you should make sure you're getting a top 6 tight end for sure. And we did a study where we surveyed 160 championship teams, and it turns out 80% of winning teams have a top 6 tight end. So if you're not getting one, do not go draft Pat P or Darren Waller. You might as well, at that point, just get a late round guy.
We're trolling this guy, but the point is, again.
We did it.
We mean it. It is a huge. We did. I took on 3 separate accounts and did it. But we have proven that you need an elite tight end. So if you're rebuilding, get an elite tight end. Look, and people on rebuilds. The other thing with tight ends, people want to sell 26-year-old Mark Andrews. Like
as a rebuild, don't
sell. Mark
they last
Andrews
till they're 32.
Are you in an 8-year rebuild? Like.
Your league won't last really 8 years.
I mean, yeah, probably. I hope it does, but I don't think it's going to.
Heck, I'd be comfortable having George Kittle on a rebuild roster.
Oh,
He's
I'd be
the
so
oldest of the top 6 bunch, with the exception of
the
Travis
only one
Kelce.
I don't really want to have on like a 2-year rebuild is maybe Travis Kelce, but even then, like
he scores too many points. So definitely don't sell him now. Sell him mid-season when he's scoring at 22 points per game again.
Exactly. All right. The next one is going to be don't be afraid to sell picks for proven young assets. This is a huge one.
Yeah. So pretty much the best example last season of a guy that a lot of people would target when they were trading their picks for a younger asset that was proven was A.J. Brown, who really panned out more than any other young asset that you're investing in when it came to increased value. And I kind of want you guys to help me out here to, come up with other guys who oh my gosh, I'm trying to bring you in with me here, but don't sacrifice proven production with guys that are younger for rookie wide receivers or rookie any player really that hasn't done squat. Like AJ Brown should be considered a rebuild asset because he's 25 years old.
Chris Godwin last year.
Chris Godwin should be considered a rebuild asset because he's 26 years old. That is not old.
Yeah, 5 years.
A lot of people in the Dynasty community will tell you that AJ Brown should not be on your rebuild roster. That is a load of poopy crap.
That is true. That is don't want to ever rebuild.
Yeah, but he wasn't on your under 25 Dynasty Cornerstone asset video. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I know. And here, that's a really
good an algorithm thing.
That is probably one of the biggest mistakes we see with rebuilding teams is you think you have to have all the picks. You don't have to have all the picks, and you don't have to ship off every single product. The problem last year, and we made a video in December way back, and it's called Bijan Robinson's Ruining Dynasty Teams. And it was because everybody was sending off every single even semi-productive asset they had, every single one, so they could get Bijan.
Well, the Dynasty Leagues are not the NBA. You can't just land LeBron James or Victor Wembanyama, or what? How has that? Did I say it right? I think I said it right. And they're not just going to transform you and take you to the top. One player's not going to do that. I'm sorry. If you're bad enough to get the first overall pick, you're not going to be good enough the next year to make the playoffs.
I know. I love it. Here's another thing.
Let's move on.
As a general rule, and this isn't on here, your rebuild, it shouldn't last more than 2 years. Go for a 2-year rebuild. If you're trying to go for a 3-year rebuild.
But I want the 2026 picks.
Dude, another thing, do not acquire anything past like the next year in picks. Get 2024 picks. 2025 picks are not something you should be like dying to get. And 2026 is 3 years away. I could have a kid by then.
2026 is where I draw the line. I mean, 2025, I understand to an extent why you would want, if you can get a 2025.
If you get real cheap.
If you can get picks plus as opposed to like a single
there is the aspect that some people value like seconds the year of versus first the year after, which is stupid. Do you remember that conversation?
Yes.
Some real smart Dynasty content creators came up with that one. All right, moving on to the next one. I think I have this one. Or is it you?
Let's give it to Simon.
Simon, you got it. After the elite producing ones, that one.
Yeah, sure. Don't shy away from veterans when the value is there. There's going to be veterans that are going to produce next year.
That wasn't the one I was pointing at.
That's okay.
It's good.
For instance, two guys that immediately come to mind, Joe Mixon and Dalvin Cook. Both of them, didn't I read this just a few minutes ago? Both of them were running back ones last year.
Yeah.
Both of them. Running back 10 and 11. I don't see either of them.
Yeah, they're awful.
You can get them for so cheap right now. Right now, guess what? In season, if they are contending assets and if they're playing well, their value is going to go up in season. So even if I'm on a rebuilding team, sometimes I go out and I get these guys when they're cheap in the offseason. I go and I send a second for Dalvin Cook and a third. And guess what I'm going to do with him midseason? I'm going to sell him for 2 seconds. I did that with Mike Evans last year. People were like, oh, Tom Brady's getting old. Mike Evans is getting old. He might not be good. I went and got Mike Evans for a single second and then resold him.
Well done.
Yeah.
Next thing is after the elite producing running backs, avoid all running backs approaching year 4. Their value is now, especially now, more unpredictable than ever. You're seeing it play out in real time. The running back market, the running back landscape in the NFL is changing, and it has changed a lot. You have some of the most talented, some of the best running backs in the NFL going into potentially getting a second deal, and teams are being very, very hesitant to do this. Only the best of the best running backs are going to really get a second deal that cements their value in Dynasty long term. That is becoming the case. I mean, guys, you wonder why Brian Robinson is a starting NFL running back? I mean, Brian Robinson's cheeks. But he's starting because, I mean, that's the way that they're going to go. They're going to pay 3 cheap guys rather than go pay a Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, there's a reason why Saquon and Josh Jacobs both still don't have long-term contracts.
Yep.
It's crazy.
And Tony Pollard's not in that conversation.
So. Yeah. Yeah, and this is why I'm scared for a team. I'm a big fan of DeAndre Swift's value right now in Dynasty. I know you guys aren't as much, and that's okay, but I'm only a fan of his value for specific team builds, honestly, right now. And if your team is going to bomb or it has bombed and you don't have much value right now, it is not a good idea to go get a guy like DeAndre Swift, who is going into the 4th season of his rookie deal, and it's completely in limbo after that. Some other guys I'm thinking of, honestly, it's an injury thing too, but J.K. Dobbins and Javonte Williams, if I'm a rebuild and it's going to take me a season or two to get to that contending status, I don't want to be touching Javonte, and I definitely don't want to be touching J.K. Dobbins. I know Simon's a fan of J.K. Dobbins, and
no,
that's
I agree.
cool,
I completely agree.
But those are not guys you want to be playing with at all. You want to avoid running backs at all costs. And honestly, if you go into the season as a rebuild with no running backs, literally no running backs period on your roster, and you're just plugging guys into the running back position off waivers, that's kind of ideal, because that means all of your investments are going into wide receivers that are going to maintain at least their value going into next season.
Remember when Zonovan Knight was like a huge? I'm sure.
If your rebuild pans out and you get Zonovan Knight off waivers and you can just plug him in for a few weeks and score points.
Second round picks for him, that was fun. All right.
Yeah.
Last one. Be patient. And, be patient to a certain extent. Like we want it to be 2-year rebuilds. But timing's key. Rebuilds always hold the cards in negotiations. There is a myth in Dynasty that that rebuilds are going to have to overpay for picks and for young players, and that because they're so valuable. I mean, you don't understand. When you are selling contending assets midseason, you have at least 6, most of the time 8 teams that are going all in to win their dynasty leagues. They are going to do whatever it takes to get those assets. You're going to have a bidding war. You're not only going to hold the cards, you're going to be able to say, I have this offer. Make me a better one, right? And here's the other thing that goes along with this that you need to be careful. There shouldn't really be more than a couple rebuilding teams in a 12-team dynasty league. If there are, contend. Please.
If half your league is saying they're rebuilding,
do not rebuild.
If half your league has Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. on their roster already, go.
Yeah.
It's funny how every 24 pick is like, well, that's
Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh.
I already have him locked down.
I thought he was
roster.
on so-and-so's team. All right. We hope that helps. And we hope you follow these things for rebuilding rosters. Again, rebuilding in Dynasty can be fun. That's a fun part of Dynasty. And it can be fun taking over a completely butt cheeks team and making it this shining star. Like Nathan. I don't know. I was going to say something funny. Never mind. It can be fun. Rebuilding is a fun part of Dynasty. Just make sure you do it the right way. Do us a huge favor. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And make sure you're subscribed over at The Fantasy Domain. It's in the description. We got 4 videos a week going there right now. It's where we are living. So if you want to be hanging out with us, get over to Fantasy Domain. Make sure you're checking out our merch. Make sure you're checking out our YouTube memberships. Make sure you're doing that because we'll do a team review grading video for you. You get access to our Discord as well. You can jump in our listener league with us. We're doing another listener league, so make sure you jump in to that as well. We appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you later.